Listen, I could have gone on earlier. I was here, but I was enjoying the music. This is Beethoven's Third, originally written for Napoleon, and very famously, Beethoven himself, upon hearing of Napoleon's declaration of himself as emperor, crossed it out. Like most of history, Beethoven has a complex relationship. Beethoven, a lover of democracy and Enlightenment ideals, was disgusted by Napoleon's declaration of himself as an emperor. So the legend goes, at least. Real life, it was a tiny bit more complicated. But I will say this, researching Beethoven. Beethoven acting very violently when he heard something he disliked and crossing the... Sounds very much in character. Not a man known for letting his tongue stay quiet if he didn't like something. Anyways. I'm kind of in a classical music mood. I don't know why, but I am. I'm planning to make a few videos covering classical music. I did two so far. One about Franz Liszt and the other about Alexander Skarbin. Both fascinating people. Franz Liszt is probably many consider to be the first rock star in a lot of ways. Yeah, play some in front. Good evening, Root. Good evening. How is it going? I'm kind of in a classical music mood today. I've been doing a lot of... I did a couple of... How are things? Yeah. On my YouTube channel, I've been doing I'm doing a few videos on classical musicians. We're listening right now to Beethoven's Third Symphony. This was one he famously initially was going to dedicate to Napoleon's life. And then was so disgusted by Napoleon declaring himself emperor, he violently crossed it out. At least that's the legend. Real life, it seems to be a more complicated thing. More of a complicated concept. But still. Good evening, the great and thunderous novelist. They are. We're going to be working on my little project in a little bit, but I'm kind of listening to music right now. Terrible. I'm making some videos about classical musicians, and it reminded me how much I used to love classical music. We're listening to Beethoven's Third Symphony right now. Are we? Yes, this is still the Third Symphony. Or Erotica. Famous story about this one is, and I want to make a whole video about this, so this is a preview. I haven't made this video yet, but that this was supposed to initially, Beethoven, who was a lifelong believer in Enlightenment ideals, wanted to dedicate this to the life of Napoleon, who was only a year younger than Beethoven himself, and he had written this whole epic to be dedicated to Napoleon's life. And then when he heard that Napoleon declared himself Emperor of France, he was so angry that he violently crossed out Napoleon's name and called this erotica instead, or to the memory of a once great hero. Of course, that's the legend goes. And it seems that in real life, Beethoven went back and forth on his opinions of Napoleon quite frequently. But researching Beethoven and his whole attitude toward things, I definitely believe he could just randomly at one point gotten so angry that he would have just crossed out Beethoven. He would have done something like that. Not a man who was known to let his passions, the fire of his passions be quelled by many things. So what are we working on today? At some point, I'm going to do a video on Beethoven, and I'm going to do a video on St. George, who is a very fascinating figure, who is getting more credit now than God, but he wasn't a real saint. But he wasn't a real saint. Just everybody called him St. George. So after this, I'll play some St. George, because St. George is a very fascinating figure in his own right. Great, and oh, it's over. It's over. Yeah, let's play some St. George. There we go. Saint Joseph Cavalier de St. George. Everybody, but you all just call him St. George. So St. George is notable We're listening to him right now. St. George is notable, and I really hate this nickname, and a lot of people really, like classical scholars, really hate this nickname. But he's oftentimes called the Black Mozart, which is kind of an infuriating nickname. One, because he was older than Mozart. He comes from the generation before Mozart, but he is probably the only notable, at least in European history, of a black composer. He was mixed race, and his mother was a slave, but he very quickly like ascended into like higher regency status. And if you can listen to him, he's absolutely beautiful. He was a violinist mostly, so he's more known for his violin work. And the fact that there he is. Yeah. Creole is the word we use, right? Anyways, he's also very famously served with. It all goes back to Napoleon when you think about it. He also very famously served with Napoleon, which is quite. He served with Alexander Dumas's Dumas Senior in the whole thing. Do you know, like, Alex in the French in Napoleon's army? I've been taking care of some dogs lately. Have I told you guys this? I'm taking care of my neighbor's dogs at the moment. I go over there a few times a day to take care of them. Nice. That's nice. They're nice dogs. And I'll get it. And tomorrow is my last day having to look after them. And I get paid $100. Not bad at all, yes. Not bad at all. I wrote accidentally a very depressing story. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh, this is my business email. I don't give a shit if people know it. I don't give a shit if people know this one. I also send notes to myself quite frequently. So what I do is I dictate stuff usually into my phone, and then I have a transcribing app on there. And then I'll email myself the transcriptions, and then that's how I. So I can get a lot more done that way. Let's see. I wrote a very depressing story. Next short story I write for this project is going to be, oh, I was close to revealing hints of what this is going to be. You will not learn about it until I am ready to post it fully. Partly it's about goats. Goats play a prominent part in it. Well, a goat plays a prominent part in it. I don't know what that is. Yeah, something like that at all. Yeah, Root. Totally like something like that. Elder Scrolls Online? A character from one of the cat people from Elder Scrolls Online? Yes, yes, it's exactly like that. Yeah. Jewish mysticism? God, it has been so long. I should reread Borges at some point. I read Borges back in college, so forgive me for not remembering. Yeah. Oh no, I have read all of Borges' stories a long time ago, so I vaguely remember this. I should reread it. I did. Oh, I remember this one. I remember this one. Yes, this was a very good one. I didn't remember the name of it. Yeah. I remember. Yes, this was a very good one. Yes, I remember this one very clearly. Man, that's not a good place for it. Mine is significantly, I would say, more genre pulpy, but anyways. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got his complete collection of short stories here. I could. Oh, I should. Then I'll read that. Like I got see. It was a very intense week in college that I sat down and read all of these. I sat down and read all of these in 1 week. So, you know, some of the memories are a little bit vague, but I remember very clearly almost all of them. It was a very fun week. Very fun week in college when I would do stuff like that. Borges is part of the reason I'm so like gung ho about short stories as like a medium. You know, I think they are an undervalued part of. Yeah, it was quite fun. I believe I was the only person at a Fuddruckers sitting down to read classical literature, like Argentinian, like I don't know. What would you describe it as? What literary fiction? Too simple of a term for Borges. Have you ever read Borges? Terrible. Good read. Good read. I would suggest maybe reading. He wrote exclusively short stories, so you know there's a few classics that. His real famous one is about the library. His real famous one is called one of his real famous ones that people mention a lot is the library, and what it is it's about the universe's like biggest library, and each book in it contains a random. You know, that's probably a good name for it. So each book in the library it contains gibberish, but what it is every single permutation of every single word. So it's every single permutation of every single like combination of letters in existence are contained within this library. So the narrator is a man who's exploring the library, trying to find a book that will predict the future, essentially. Because if every single permutation exists, there must be a book out there that will tell of the entire history of the world, like the entire. It's a very intense sort of thing. There's a ton of other great ones. There's one about a man who there's one about a fantasy world becoming so intense that they start believing it to be real. He's very good. Unfortunately, he was a tiny bit of a fascist. Just a tiny bit, apparently. Which sours his reputation. How was it? Yeah. How was Fahrenheit 451? Well, this one might be done. Oh, boy. How dare I get something done? That's not allowed. It means people will have to look at it. I'll send it to Hemingway editor. See what they have to say. Okay. Good. But there are a couple of complicated things. Yeah. If you like that one, you should read The Martian Chronicles next. That's another Ray Bradbury. Let's see, Michael is right next to one of their few physical. Okay. Yeah, that's what it means. You're supposed to try and get it down as... This is about simplifying your stuff to make it... Oh wait, this is bad. This is wrong. Conversion into a church. Okay, of some sort. That's bad. Okay, there we go. That fixes it. I mostly find this useful for... Takes a trip! Hello! Hello! I mostly find this useful for, like, helping me identify, like, when my sentences go on too long. Like, I put too much stuff into my sentences, which I do a lot. Hello! Hello! You know, it's kind of my theory that you should try and reduce, like, the amount of, like, filler words you have in between your main ideas. This is probably too long of a paragraph. Yeah. Because, you know... Yeah. Oh, of course, of course. Of course. But, you know, like, especially, like, I have a tendency to go, like, and then he agreed with the thing, and yes, you know, like, I'll put, like, 5 or 6 words in front of what... And there's usually an easier way to say something that makes it stronger. Yeah. Yes. Because that's what people say. Not a word wasted in Les Miserables. Binkerbell. Hello, hello, hello. Nothing's wrong with Les Miserables. It's long, though. It's very long. It's a very long... Yes. I'm unaware of if this was... Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Root, are you... Is Les Miserables one of those things where, like a lot of Charles Dickens works, where it was serialized and he was paid by the word? Let's see. Was it serialized? Because that's the reason why a lot of these older books seem very long, is because they were serialized in magazines. Let's see. No, it just seems like... There we go. Yeah. Let's see. Huh? Doesn't seem like it was serialized. It seems like he just... Well, it seems like Hugo was just like, nope, you're gonna read a long fucking book. It's a good book. It's a great book. It's just, it's very long. And it's like it's essentially... You could easily break it into like 3 or 4 different books, honestly. It's you know what it is? It's like... Hey, no, you're up late again. It's essentially like reading through all of the Lord of the Rings at once. Tell us a little about yourself. Tell us a little bit. Why can't I talk? Tell us a little bit about yourself, Binker. How's it going? Yeah. I attempted to read it once. I found it very long. Not that it means it's bad. It just means it's very long. Are you a writer? Go to bed? No. How? Thank you. Anyways. Okay. Yes. I should try and read it again. Victor Hugo is somebody I've been interested in for a long time as a person. Yes. Yes. I use both, my friend. I use both. I have dyslexia. I use as many systems as I can to make sure it edits efficiently. Yeah, it's I know somebody told me about it on stream once, and I've been using it ever since. It's free. Yeah. The thing it does really well is like identify overtly like long sentences. Yeah. You know, it's so bullshit. Like, they have so many AI programs that don't really help writers, but seemingly are working very hard to replace writers. But, like, we need a more efficient, like, AI. I don't know. I've been tempted to get the more expensive, like, the paid version of Grammarly. Has anybody done that? Is it worth it? Okay, let's walk. Yeah. No, they don't. It is. It's incredibly formulaic. Well, for editing, I find them quite useful. For edit, well, that's what Grammarly is. Terrible. It's an AI editing program. I find it quite useful for editing. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I did? I'm really bad at coming up with character. Yeah, it totally is. I'm really bad at coming up with character names. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with some character names for me, and they gave me some okay ones, unfortunately, that I'm going to use. But beyond that, I've been playing around with like the AI writing stuff all week because I'm just, that's my new competition, so I want to see what it can do. And nope. I'm relatively confident, at least for writers, like fiction writers, will be okay for a while at least. It's very children's book. It's very children's booky, the style of writing, Yeah. So what type of stuff do you write, Blink? First he did this, and then he did that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What's funny? I think, the profession that... Yeah, exactly. It's shallow themes and all. Now, the question is, do we take the general audience as people who care about incredibly shallow themes is the big problem. I did experiment with, it's like, the thing is, I think theoretically somebody with very little experience could use it to program a video game, which is quite fascinating to me. I have been posting my attempts to get ChatGPT to generate any sort of interesting stories for me in my Discord, if you guys are curious. I think Terrible, you've seen it, right? My attempts to get them to write a funny story. Yeah. I always think that's good. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. For some reason, I said, tell me a story about Garfield the cat leading a rebellion to become King of England, then eventually restoring the Holy Roman Empire. And they were like, I'm sorry, but it's not possible to tell a story about Garfield the cat leading a rebellion to become King of England and eventually restoring the Holy Roman Empire. This is because the idea is quite fantastical and far-fetched. Oh, they aren't. They aren't. They never will. Then I tried to write me a comic strip starring Garfield where he reveals that he's secretly John's dead brother reincarnated as a cat. I'm sorry, I can't fulfill this prompt. The storyline is not appropriate for a comic strip and could be seen as insensitive. Yeah. Oh, they aren't? They aren't. Yeah. Exactly. They aren't. There is no consent for what they've done. Yeah. Exactly. There was a few others, like, I don't know, there was a few other ones I got, like, it got mad at me for trying to do. Mostly about Garfield doing various stuff in medieval times. Couldn't go on crusades, for some reason. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So right now, I'm not super worried about it replacing fiction writers because it just frankly doesn't write good fiction. But I will admit I was really stuck on a character's name, and so I a character's name for this project I'm working on. And I asked it, hey, can you give me some ideas for a character name? And they gave me a really good idea that I'm going to use. But beyond that, I don't see the total use of it. You know, we'll see. Of course, it'll probably hurt bad writing. People. There we go. Haha. Once I get this down to 0 hard to read sentences, then I feel it's completed. Oh, yes. Yes. Use it. I'll fix them. I'm fixing. No, I don't want to read anything out loud to you guys yet. The way this is going, I should hopefully have this ready to go at some point. I'll send it to you in secret. I'll send it to you in secret. Terrible. I'd like you to look over it at some point. Well, I mean, you can see them right now. Well, there. You know what it is? It catches. So. Well, you will at some point. I don't want. It's just I don't want to reveal them yet. I will reveal. Well, here's a fun thing I like to do. Let's see. Let's see if there's one available just online right now. Oh, the bull. That's a great story. I was doing it. Let's see. No, I want fucking tax losers. I want to put a Ernest Hemingway short story through it to see what happens. Sleep! Go to sleep! Jesus, Jesus. Okay, I can see why. Yeah, there's... Okay. Haha! We are down to 5 complicated sentences. Good night. You know who I say will be really hurt by AI right now, at least, are like people who work for like those BuzzFeed like websites, because that stuff is. Yeah. That stuff is so like. Oh, damn it! I got rid of. Oh, you know what I can do? See, this is what's good about this. It makes you think. This is what's good about this website. It makes you think, because, like, yeah, that makes it a lot cleaner. Oh, delicious, delicious Doritos. Okay. Now that can stay. I don't know how to make that easier. Street on his walk back. Because this is probably going to pop up in a later section. I just don't know exactly what yet. I don't want to give away too much of what the structure is. None of you will hear it until the pitch deck is ready. None of you will hear what this is, what I'm doing until the pitch deck, I'm ready to promote this. And it's not ready to promote yet. So what are we all working on tonight? Yeah. Can you find me like the text of a? Can you find me like the text of a Hemingway short story online? That might work. Yeah, it's kind of a clumsy sentence. I thought that too. Let's see. Will they like this one? Will they like that one better? Yep, they did. Thank you. We cut that out. Oh no! No, I want to specifically name it because it'll pop. Because I want to leave little references for later parts of the project. And that was the wrong spot. Oops. That was the wrong sentence. Oops. Yeah. But that was also the wrong part. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, it is significantly cleaner. I tend to... Yeah, we can probably separate that into enough. That's good. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Okay. That fixed that. Okay. See, I try to cram too much into single sentences. That's always been an issue of mine. Okay. No, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that. I'm allowed 9. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just, I come up with an idea of like a little fun extra thing. This is why I like this. This is why I like this. Why I like this thing so much. This is why I like this program so much, because it like highlights all the times I do that. And it forces me to edit down and get simplify a lot of sentences where I add too much like complication. And weaker. There we go. Well, now send this off to my unpaid editor, aka my mom, to help clean this up further, and then I'll probably be sending it out to a few people who have asked the beta read. One may very well be in the stream. Okay, well, we got that one done. Surely everybody will love it, and they'll love me. And nobody will hate it. I am very nervous about releasing this wide. I don't know. I was thinking... Where's... Oh! Yeah, it was missing its opening paragraph. Well, you know, there's always... My biggest problem is that I always assume people know more than... I always assume, you know, like, there's stuff... When I write stuff, it makes perfect sense to me, you know. But when other people read it, they're going like, well, what's going on? What's this? What's this? And I feel like I don't explain, like I struggle with exposition. It doesn't help that I get very bored by exposition and stuff I read, and I'm just like, oh, it's boring You know, it's like, you know, this is stuff everybody does, so let's just move on. I get it. You know, so I tend to... And I'm going for sort of a slightly different structure than usual. I don't know. So we'll see if this all fits in my head. Yeah, no worries. I'm not good at... Oh, here's another one. Yeah. I like this one. I think this one's clever. It's shorter, but I think it's a clever idea. Oh, I have another one. There's the other one. Yeah, there we go. This one probably... Yeah. Well, you know, it's more... I would rather you just... Yeah. I don't know. I don't think this one is super well written. I probably should just rewrite it. It's a funny idea, but it's just... It's not... Yeah, I probably could rewrite this one. Yeah. That's... Yeah. This is a funny idea. I don't want to tell what it is yet, but I think it's a funny idea, but it's also just not... I don't think it's all that well written. Yeah. You may notice the title. Yeah. You may notice the title of one of them, by the way. I'm not... See, where's the other one? There's another one. Oh, I think that's on a different... I will sooner. I just don't want the pressure of having to give it to people right this moment. In my head. Right now it's, you know, nobody. Right now nobody. I wrote some very depressing stories, I have to say. I want to write. Oh, right. I have some very depressing stories. I want to write a more lighthearted one next. I guess I can. No. Not until I feel confident that I'll do it. Because once it's there, once it's out, once it's ready to be shared, then it just becomes part of my like routine, and then I don't feel nervous about it. But I feel nervous now because every time I talk about something too much, it becomes okay. Sorry, you guys are. I never publicly let my my anxieties get out on the street. Cute, cool, and calm as a cucumber. That's how they define me. Yeah. Are we thinking of releasing it on here? Have you guys ever heard of Royal Road? God, I want to delete these old things. I hate them so much. Well, if where would be okay? Here's the question. Here's a question for everybody. Twitch audience. I assume it's going to be you people, my favorite people, who are going to be the main readers of this sort of thing. Or at least one of the first readers. Hopefully others, but you know. I've been around the internet long enough to know to not bank on something becoming an instant success. It'll take time. Where would you people feel where would you people feel most comfortable reading a fiction project? Tell me. Where would you people feel most comfortable reading it? Should it be on its own website? Should it be on a social media now? You know, on a social media thing. Where would be the best spot to read it? Yes, I'm aware of that. Terrible. I'm aware of that, but I want to. You get what I mean, right? Like an actual where would be the best place to publish it so anybody could read it? Maybe do people do that? I haven't heard of that. Do people post like web novels? Do people post like web novels on Discord? That's an interesting I mean, I have a Discord server. I could just post it there. It's an interesting idea. That is an interesting idea. That is that is something I hadn't thought of. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would probably make it something along the lines of like only I could post in it, you know. But that's an interesting idea. That was one that had legitimately not occurred to me. Well, that might be something I'll do. Any other ideas? I'll post. I might post this far and wide. I have a website. I don't really use it all that often, but I don't know how comfortable are. People don't seem to like going to just individual websites anymore, which I consider sad, but it's just the way the world works. Like, I don't know. Would a Tumblr? I don't want to do Tumblr. I do like that idea, Rude. I do like that idea. I had thought about posting this on a Patreon. It'd be free. It'd be free on Patreon, but, just posting it there. And just like, if you want to subscribe, you can. If you don't want to subscribe, I don't really care. That is a very interesting idea, though, Root. I might do that. What terrible? Callie? Who else is here? Yeah. That's good. But like, here's the question. Here. Terrible. Here's a question. Well, there are. So I'll probably post it on there. Here's a question for you. I'm thinking of these terms. What's like the social media service site you use most besides Twitch? You can't say Twitch. I could theoretically... You know what I could theoretically do? It just occurred to me. Yeah. Well, Root, your Discord idea is I'm being sold on your Discord idea more and more. It's not a terrible. That was a really good idea. That's a really good idea, Root. Do you have like a link, like to a public Discord that does stuff like that? I'd be curious to see how they set it up. Obviously, don't give me one that I can't, like, that's just for friends. But if there's like a public, like, one that expects like a lot of people to join, I'd be curious to see how they set that up. Okay. I don't want to intrude on your like friends' Discords or anything. Is it possible like you could just send me like a picture of what it looks like? Because I'm just curious how they do it. Like I'm just curious how they have it set up or something. Like just like a screenshot or something. Like don't do it if that's too much. Please don't do it. Please don't do it if it's too much. I'm just curious how they set it up. Yeah, let's do a poll. And there's a good chance I may release it on several different ones, but I'm curious to hear what the public has to say. I can tell you that. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was already going to promote it through Royal Road, but I mean, ideally, I want people to enjoy it, but that doesn't seem to happen a lot. There's a yes, do. It's one of my favorite books. Feel free to vote in the poll. I'm just curious what the idea is. Part of this, I will say, part of this whole thing is, I just want to release something. I'm so afraid to release things to the public, you know? I get so scared to release things, and I have to conquer my fear of just releasing stuff. After this, we'll do some nice old-fashioned writing. How does that sound for everybody? Welcome back. Once the poll ends, once this poll ends, how about we do a writing sprint? How does that sound to everybody? Good. Does that sound good? Does that sound beautiful and amazing? Just at. One idea I did have, and I may still do this, is I may hire like a like a narrator to like narrate these. Maybe I can narrate them myself, and then I could broadcast them as audiobooks, and then I could broadcast them live, like not live, but like broadcast them on here as like little episodes in a recurring audiobook thing. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that later when I have a bigger thing built up, and everybody in the world likes it. Okay, people seem to like the Discord idea, and people seem to like the doing it free on Patreon. Those good ideas. I like the free Patreon idea because it would encourage people to maybe give to my Patreon at some point, so we can get off this fucking. We can stop helping financially support one of the most evil bastards operating, one of the biggest bastards operating right now. Gonna assuage my guilt just a little bit. Okay. Okay, shall we do a writing sprint? Maya, hiya, how's it going? Long time no see, how are things? A little lightheartedness is good. A little lightheartedness is fantastic. The world needs lighthearted stories as much as it needs dark and depressing stories. I'm good. I have a little project I'm working on, and I'm perusing my audience here to see what would be the most acceptable way to release this, that they would actually click on it. I am very frustratingly not telling anybody what it's about or what the central theme is or who the characters are. That way I don't feel super nervous talking about it. It's all mysterious. It's all mysterious. Maya, let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with are you familiar with like web novels? Do you read web novels at all? I'm trying to figure out what people who follow me here actually, where the websites they actually go to are, so I can release it efficiently. Tell me. Maya, where do you read them? I'm curious where you read them. Do you read them on a big website, or do you go to the author's individual website? And that seems very fun. I like that idea a lot. That's a very cute idea. It's a very cute idea. That's a very funny idea. I'm curious to hear from a web novel reader where to go exactly. Because I was thinking of posting it on Royal Road, which is the website I know, and I know and maybe web novel as well. Trying to post it as far and wide as possible. But I've been taking suggestions from the audience here about what they actually prefer. And I've gotten a very interesting suggestion from Root here about that he has occasionally... Some people are just posting it directly into a Discord server. Like, he has had friends who post their fiction directly into a Discord server, and that's the main way they distribute. Yeah, no, that's a very fun idea. I may try that. I had another idea of... Yeah. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Seems most everybody here uses Discord. Why not just post it directly there? I'm not the hugest fan of how Discord formats... Oh, great. Thanks for that. I'm not... the ad is running right now. Whatever. I'm not the... Go to sleep. Go to sleep, my friend. Go to sleep. I'm not the hugest fan of how Discord formats stuff, though, is my only problem. I think it's very utilitarian in a lot of ways. You know, it's good for conversations, but less good for, like, say, reading long periods of things. So I'm not... Yes. At some point, I'm getting to the point where I feel mostly confident about sharing it. Yeah. Now, it's you know, I'll post it on a few different places, but I want to know where you got... Because, you know, this is for you guys. Well, not just for you guys. I hope a lot of people read it, but I especially want to make sure that you guys have the most convenient... You guys here on Twitch have the most convenient place to read it, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. I was in writing groups in college. I have a minor in creative writing, if shockingly enough. I have an English minor, so, and I took nothing but creative writing courses. Yeah. Woo! I know you have a major. I have a minor. It's not like anybody's gonna get it. It's like nobody wants that degree now. Yeah. Sure. Well, yeah. See, the thing about it all is... Yes. Go to sleep. Well, the thing about it all is... Yeah, I'll look into it. See, let's look at my Discord, see longer sentences, how they work. Could be something. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, the problem is, what I'm nervous about... Let's see. Oh, I have a writing thing where people post their writing every once in a while. I haven't checked it in forever. Let's see. The problem... Okay. Well, you know. Oh, I miss Manny. Stupidly working hard at college. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would rather it be on like a website or something. I don't want people just reading a Google Doc. You know? I don't know. Would reading something like this work? Let's see. Okay, here's Callie. Yeah, this needs to probably be formatted a little better. No judgment, Callie. I thought it was a good story. It's just I don't like this big like just blob of text right here. Yeah. Well, that was another idea I had where I would post it for free on Patreon. Yeah. Well, Root, the hope would be. Well, this is a thing I authored. You know, the hope would be eventually, you know, for people to strangers to read this and like it. You know. Maybe pay for it. Yeah. Well, one of the other ideas I was playing around. Yeah, one of the other ideas I was playing around with, a thought process I had, is that it would be a free Patreon post. Like, it would be on Patreon, and the little bit of the implication would be, like, maybe it would be good for you to buy it, but yeah. No, it'd be free. It'd be free. It'd be totally free. Just people. The only cost would be seeing the Patreon and maybe being hinted to. I want people to actually read this, Rude. I want people to actually read this project, and me charging money for it right now is unfortunately not going to be a good way to get people to read it. And I wrote this I'm writing this in mind for the internet. Yeah. Well, that's where Royal Road is. The real question I'm asking is what are people here most comfortable reading? Is the real question I'm asking. Because I want it to be kind of seamless for people from here to read the story, read this. Because I've made the mistake, Root, before of picking formats that, like, say, people on here are not familiar with, so they just won't go. Yeah. It's popular is the thing. It's the only reason. So, Maya, tell me, how good did it feel to finish completing your story? Because you've been talking about doing that for a bit. Popular. Or I could always just put it on its own website, you know? And of course, nobody will like it. I haven't talked to Maya in a while, so... Yeah, Road seems fine. But I know from experience that it's a struggle to get people to sign on to a new platform for you. I'd rather go to platforms where everybody already is. Like, when I was trying TikTok, the biggest issue I had was, like, nobody here used TikTok. Best words in the English language. The end. How long is it? That's what I've been finding. It's like you get the initial idea like out there, and then you can kind of go back and expand it as much as you want. Getting a first draft done is an amazing feeling. Because it's like the hard work is done then. You know, the rest of the time is just like you sit back and you relax and you go like, okay, what? You just think, okay, what fun idea can I add? What other idea can I add? My draft? About 5,000 words, I would say, give or take. But it's an ongoing concern, so it's like, it doesn't really matter. Shall we do some work, everybody? Shall we do some work? Shall we do some writing? Sorry, we were about to do a sprint and then Maya popped in. Then I don't get to talk to Maya as much as we used to. So it's always good to see Maya. Shall we do a sprint, everybody? How would that sound? Yeah. Yes, yes. Terrible! I assumed you were asleep! Go to bed, jeez. Go to bed. Go to bed. Okay, let's start. N. Let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2. Boop 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 boop. 1. Go! Please. Okay, good. Go! Hello, everybody. Hello. That was 20 minutes. Give yourself a little bit of pat on the back for working for 20 minutes on stuff. That's more than most people do during a day. How did we all do? Yes. That's what a writing sprint is. We all write. We all write together. Wonder. Wait, were you working on literal pants? Eh. What type of pants? Were they beautiful pants? I wrote a very dialogue heavy project. I promised to stop doing super dialogue heavy things just because it's a crutch of mine. I'm under the delusion I write good dialogue. I don't know if I do, but I think I have fun writing it at least. Which is an important first step, I feel, in any project. That's awesome! That's really cool. Second. Let's see how many words I wrote. Okay, I officially 689 words I put down. I mean, I dictated it, but I count that as writing. It is writing. Adults don't know how good they have it. I'm now in a position in my life as a writer where I realize that my first draft should just probably be totally dictated. And then it usually feels a lot freer to do it that way. And then I go back and I edit it. I edit it to like make it flow nicer and sound better. $689 words. Do. So the Oscars are tomorrow. I have only seen one of the movies. I used to like for Oscar night. I would always like really like go out and like I would always try and watch as many of the movies as possible. But ever since the pandemic, I've been just like What are you talking about? This is a totally original song I came up with. 869.70. in coffee cups, in something else. Wickedly, starring the wickedly talented. Uh, what was the what was the name? Was that John Travolta thing? I'll always remember that. I just don't remember. You guys are speaking of Oscars. Do you remember this John Travolta? Adina, when he clearly. What was I always forget the name? What he thought it was. Adele Dazeem. I have seen Wicked. Adele Dazeem. The wickedly. I don't know. That was so funny. Adele Dazeem. Oh, did I? Oh, fuck. I forgot to. Damn it. Bad streamer. I forgot to switch the thing. I've seen Wicked. Adele Dazeem. I've seen Wicked. I've also seen... What have I seen? I've seen The Book of Mormon. Lion King. I saw this play called The Play Goes Wrong, which is a really fun one. If you guys ever get a chance to see that, that's a really funny one. He didn't know how to say Idina Menzel, so he just tried to guess it. Because he just didn't know how to say it, so he pronounced... I don't know. John Travolta's just such a weird guy. A lot... You know, he's been in some truly great movies, but he's such a weird person. Oh, how was Beetlejuice? How was Beetlejuice? That's the real hip one that all the young people like. I know that. You know, it has all those songs. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. It's juice made from beetles. I still, there's this YouTube channel I follow called Wings, Waiting in the Wings. It's a really great YouTube channel, and he covers like the history of like Broadway shows and stuff. And I still can never get over one of the funniest bits of Broadway lore I've ever heard. So, famous musical Carrie, adaptation of Carrie. It's huge. It's an infamous flop. And the reasons why it's an infamous flop are huge, and like there's a lot of stuff going on because of that. But a lot of reasons for it. But one of the things was the director just didn't get it, and the director was this like classics guy who only... Oh, Starkid. So he was like, so the director of Carrie was this guy who only had experience really directing like 300-year-old plays and stuff. So the producer comes up, like they're making they haven't made the costumes yet, and he starts talking to the producers, and the producers say, yeah, this is going to be a real big show. We're real excited. It's about teenagers, which is something kind of rare for Broadway. And, it's going to be hit, it's going to be really good. And, and when you make it, I want you to think Grease. And the director goes like, and he's this pompous, like, he's like this old pompous, like, British guy. It's like, yes, Grease, So the producers go away and let the director work, and they come back a few months later, and all of the actors, all of the teenagers are dressed in like togas and stuff, and they go like, why are they dressed in togas? Well, you said you wanted it to be like Grease. And the producers then scream out, we meant Grease the movie! Not Grease the country! One of my favorite bits of Broadway lore ever. I'm happy that Beetlejuice is doing well, because it's like, I know that's like a show that kind of got... Beetlejuice is interesting because I was reading the whole thing they were talking about. It's like Beetlejuice is a good example of how like musicals now like are like blowing up on like because of TikTok and stuff. Which is really fascinating. Like, I know it was kind of a flop before they started posting, like, several of the cast members started to make, like, TikToks and stuff. And that's where it started to become, like, a real big hit. Oh, who by the way, who by the way, saw the Puss in Boots movie? Did you like it? I liked it. I thought it was really good. Yeah, it was fun. I like it. DreamWorks seems to like. I like. Yeah, it's definitely fun. I mean, I know everybody's freaking out over the wolf, but I liked. Yeah. Yeah, I like Goldie. Like, I think she's. That's a fun one. Yeah. It's really good. I was talking about this, and I feel like Puss in Boots really shows the fact that like maybe simple quest stories aren't so bad. I was thinking, okay, so here's kind of a far out thought process I've been having lately, and I'm not. Have we ever in Star Wars gotten stories about Jedi being Jedi? I was thinking about this recently. I don't think we've ever gotten a pure Jedi story, really. Like, Jedi doing what they traditionally would do. Like, we've gotten stories about them, the Jedi Order falling, the Jedi, the political nature of the Jedi Order, about trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, the Last Jedi. But we've never got a story just about Jedi doing what Jedi do. And like Jedi are supposed to be essentially like wandering, like like samurai or space samurai or something. And I was thinking, I thought about that in reference to Puss in Boots, because like Puss in Boots is a very like simple plotline in a lot of ways. And that doesn't, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it's like it's a fairly simple plotline, and it's more character. It's more about different characters' wants and needs on top of that. And I really respect that in a way, that it's about it's a it's a more simplified plot line that allows like deeper characterization to exist because they don't spend like hours like on like because I sometimes think in fantasy, like not to go on too big of a rant, but I occasionally do on this channel. I sometimes think fantasy maybe occasionally has gotten too complicated for its own good. You know? And it may do fantasy a little bit well to like strip back just a tiny bit and maybe trying to figure out what the most basic storylines are. Because it's like, because it occurred to me, it's like I don't think I've ever seen like I don't. Anyways, sorry, that was a ramble. I'm very rambly today. What's the best dog breed? You know the one movie I saw, the one movie that's nominated for an Oscar that I saw this year was. I feel bad about it. It's the pandemic kind of screwed up my whole schedule because I used to go to movies every weekend, but I don't do that anymore, and I feel bad about that because that used to be my favorite little tradition. But I don't do that as much as I used to. Anyways, one Oscar movie I saw this year that was nominated was what is it? Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's what I saw, and I like that one a lot. So I guess that's the one I'm cheering for, but I haven't seen any of the other ones, so it's just like, what, I can't realistically say, Yes, the two movies I saw this year, Puss in Boots and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Are the two best movies. Yeah, I believe that. Well, very specifically, I believe that fantasy is a little bit too in love with like um long drawn out. Like, partly what plays into my issues of like yeah. Yeah, yeah. See, partly what plays. Not that I hate like super overtly complicated. I like Game of Thrones and all that stuff, but not that I hate it. It's just I feel genres benefit from having a wide approach to things. Like I feel like genres benefit from like having a variety of different things exist. And I think it's always a bad idea when like genres become too concentrated into one certain thing. And simple like quest-based narratives which seem to be sort of dying out are something I miss. And I know they're still popular because whenever movies do them, because like say something like Puss in Boots, which did it pretty flawlessly, one suddenly everybody freaks out over that, and I'm like, see, we still exist. They still exist. They're still popular. Because fantasy always will have roots like in chivalric, like chivalry, like tales of like chivalry and like King Arthur and stuff like that, and you know, that stuff can get pretty dense too. But a lot, there's a lot of stories where it's just about knights of like the Round Table, uh, you know, going out to a variety of things and and is my theory, at least. I don't know. I don't like. Here's the thing. I don't like having to sit down and read like 60 books to get one single plot. I don't think. I don't think like. I don't think adding like more like a book with like 100,000 words is necessarily better than a book with like 5,000 words or something. You know what I mean? Like Borges is like one of the greatest novelists. Is one of the greatest writers of all time, and he wrote exclusively short stories, and they were epic and like strange and beautiful and philosophical. And did he need? What did he need with super long thing? I don't know. What did he need with writing super long books? Ragnarok. Exactly. And I guess that's what I'm saying. The images and dreams, wrote Coleridge, figure forth the impressions that our intellect would call causes. We do not feel horror because we are haunted by a sphinx. We dream a sphinx in order to explain the horror that we feel. If that is true, how might a mere chronicling of its forms transmit the stupor, the exaltation, the alarms, the dreads, and the joys that wove together that night's dream? I shall attempt to chronicle. Nevertheless, perhaps the fact that the dream consisted of but a single scene may ease or soften the essential difficulty. The place was the College of Philosophy and Letters. The hour, nightfall. Everything, as is often the case in dreams, was slightly different. A slight magnification altered things. We chose authorities. I would speak with Pedro. Oh boy. Hernquez Urena, who in waking life had died many years before. Suddenly, we were dumbfounded by a great noise of demonstrators on the street, musicians from the underworld. We heard the cries of humans and animals. A voice cries, "Here they come!" And then, "The gods! The gods!" 4 or 5 individuals emerged from out of the mob, occupied the dais of the auditorium. Everyone applauded, weeping. It was the gods, returning after banishments of many centuries, looming larger than life as they stood upon their dais, their heads thrown back, their chests thrust forward. Their hotly received our homage. One was holding a branch, which had belonged, no doubt, to the simple botany of dreams. Well, that is such a great phrase right there. The botany of dreams. I love that so much. That's gonna be a title of something in the future. Another, with a sweeping gesture, held out a hand. That was a claw. One of Jonas's faces looked masterfully at sorry, I'm tired. Thoros' curved back. Perhaps excited by our applause, one of them, I no longer remember which, burst out in a triumphant incredibly bitter chuckling that was half a gargle and half a whistle. From that point on, things changed. It all began with the suspicion, perhaps exaggerated, that the gods were unable to talk. Centuries of a pharaoh life of flight had atrophied the part of them that was human. The moon of Islam and the cross of Rome had been oh fuck. I feel so stupid. Incapable with these figures. Belting brows, yellow teeth, the sparse beard. The breast-like wallops were testaments to the degradation of the Olympian line. The clothes they wore were not those of decorations and honest poverty, but rather the criminal luxury of the underworld's gambling dens and the houses of ill repute. A carnation bled from a buttonhole. Under a tight suit coat, one could discern the outline of a knife. Suddenly, we felt that they were playing their last trump. They were cunning, ignorant, and cruel, like aged predators, and we allowed ourselves to be swayed by fear or pity that they would wind up destroying us. We drew our heavy revolvers. Suddenly, in the dream, there were revolvers, and executed and killed the gods. There we go. I almost said half the words correctly. That kind of sounds like, that sounds a little bit like what the Roger Rabbit prequel was gonna be. Like at some point Spielberg wanted to do a prequel to Roger Rabbit, and it was literally gonna be about that. It was about what the cartoons did during World War II. What the tunes were doing during World War II. Maya, it was lovely to see you. I'm dying here a little bit too. Probably gonna log off soon. Myself. Let's find somebody to. Let's find somebody to raid. Should we? Yeah. I feel Porky Pig. Words. Words are impossible tonight. You know what? Let's go to writing. Let's go to the writing tag and see who's there. Well, we'll rate somebody. Okay, everybody. Let's call it here. We're gonna raid a new friend. Bye.
About this story. Wasn't it interesting? This is the story.